here for folks like us. Wrong city, wrong people.
All right, welcome back to the channel, everybody. ASAP Grim here, and this is because my key to switch scenes in OBS evidently is the same as the key to adjust your banner. But again, I'm ASAP Grim. We're on the march to Christmas here. Merry Christmas to everybody. We have a lot to talk about. I'm going to put a chapter marker in for where the gameplay actually starts in case you want to get through this all. But for those of you who've been watching the channel, you know that I was investing in upgrading my system and getting into a modded Cyberpunk and GTA 5 playthrough for those two games staggered out over the coming months, right? Okay, well, let's actually start with the fact that you just saw a new intro. That's because I had not hardware trouble. I installed the hardware fine, but software issues. So we're gonna talk about all of this, but that's why the new intro. Basically, I lost access to all that stuff. So I have been learning as I go because I'm running into problems I've never seen before, and this is part of being a PC owner. Okay, sorry about that. I had to mute mic for a second. This is part of being a PC owner, is kind of just learning, running into new problems and then using the internet and AI to kind of figure out, okay, how do I fix this? You know, if you're like me, where you're a nerd, but you know, like, you actually don't have the PC knowledge that a lot of geeks do. You have some, but not as much as plenty of others out there. Then that's how it is for me. Think of it like this. I took my old system. Think of that as like a jigsaw puzzle that's been completely put together. You have the whole picture, right? I took that and I pulled out a bunch of major hardware. CPU cooler, motherboard, GPU, and RAM. And so that's like breaking up the picture into all the individual jigsaw puzzles. Then I have my new components. And think of that as being a separate pile of jigsaw puzzle pieces that I now need to piece together. Well, I pieced them together fine. I installed them. I got everything put in. I'm always nervous whenever I do this. I watch videos to prepare, make sure I didn't forget anything. For me, the very slowest part that takes the longest is to find all the little single pin and double pin connectors for things like case fans and RGB lighting and stuff like that, and get those all plugged into the motherboard so that everything works correctly. That actually took me quite a long time. Everything else was relatively quick as far as PC builds go. So that's like putting the picture together. And then if you were to break that puzzle piece up again and take the original puzzle and throw it on top of there and mix all the pieces up. So now you have two jigsaw puzzles mixed together. Not only do you have to find the pieces to form the picture, but you have to weed out the pieces from the old puzzle. And think of that as being the problem with the software. And that's what I ran into. It would not boot into Windows. The reason is because I had an Intel motherboard and an Intel CPU, and I changed to an AMD motherboard and AMD CPU. I also, as I told you, upgraded or changed out the RAM and the GPU, but the main thing was going from Intel to AMD, and I didn't have enough knowledge, or maybe I'd forgotten, because I had AMD at one point in time. I think AMD was the first system I built on my own. I can't quite, it was a long time ago, but so I've switched from AMD to Intel before, so it could be that I just forgot the knowledge because it has been a long time. But this is my first time in forever and a day going back to AMD. And I guess what you're supposed to do is uninstall all your Intel drivers and stuff before you do a reinstall before you do an install of new hardware. I didn't do that. So I couldn't get into my Windows operating system. Now, the thing that I found out happened later, and it took me a lot of troubleshooting, and the AI actually suggested that I go and check something else completely unrelated, not completely unrelated, but related to my SATA SSD. And when I checked that something else, I found that my SATA SSD, which is what my operating system is on, the data and the power cables had come undone. So that's why I couldn't get into my Windows system. Originally, it couldn't find a Windows system to boot into. But before I knew that, I tried a whole bunch of different troubleshooting methods that Windows offered me. And one of them was to reinstall Windows from, I tried to reinstall it from the cloud, but it said it couldn't get a connection. I know that my router was working because I could access it through my phone, and I was going through Wi-Fi, not through my cellular network. But later on, I found out it was because my PC controller, the Ethernet controller, was trying to use an Intel network. So that's what locked me out from being able to reinstall Windows through the cloud. But fortunately, I did have a USB lying around with a recovery drive on it for Windows. And I tried to boot from that, and it looked like it was, or I tried to reinstall from that, and it looked like it was working at first, but it ended up ultimately failing. What it did do in the process, so this is a really long answer, but I'm giving you all the stuff that I've been involved in. What it did do in the process, I think this was the culprit, is it overwrote one of my mechanical hard drives as an alternative drive where I was going to set up Windows and be able to boot into my computer. And when it did that, that was the drive that I had all of my MAGA intro and outro videos saved to, all of my various assets that I use for different slides and scenes and stuff in OBS. I'm really lucky, I think, that it did not have my main OBS installation, which is where my audio filters that I've been working on so hard the past couple weeks are stored. Those were preserved, but all the other stuff got overwritten, which includes the file I was using for the title picture, where it shows you what episode, and it says the Nords up in the top right, and it says what episode. I lost all of that also. So eventually, whenever I did get that SATA drive plugged in correctly, and I got all my SATA ports figured out, and this was in and of itself also a bit of a bear to figure out, because, and I'm still I have a little bit of question. It could be that because I have an SSD installed in an M.2 slot, that some of the SATA ports are not working. I'm not 100% sure, but I've done a lot of shuffling and changing around of where things are stored right now. Actually, it looks like I do have both of those mechanical hard drives showing up, so those SATA ports are working fine. I don't have my CD-ROM working, so I don't know. That's an unknown for me. It might be that one of the SATA ports isn't working. I'm not quite sure. But at any rate, I had to go in, I had to shuffle some things around. I had to actually download a partition wizard and reallocate drive space. It's a whole bunch of stuff I've had to do. And then the big thing that I've been working on is just slowly finding old Intel drivers and deleting those and making sure that I have AMD drivers installed. And I am telling you guys, this thing is still not working completely smooth like butter, but it is a heck of a lot better than where I started out. Again, hardware was not a problem. That seemed to go fairly flawlessly. It's software issues that I'm dealing with now, and I'm a little bit concerned that this could take me months to figure out. Another thing that I learned is that this motherboard's highest throughput SSD slot takes faster SSDs than what I own. So I am getting pretty close to ordering another SSD that will take full advantage of that speed. At that point in time, I think I will be able to reinstall Windows and do a clean install. See, that's the magic button right there. I think that's what I need to do. To just reset back to generic drivers, have nothing in Intel infecting anything, quote unquote infecting, and then install only AMD from there. And to do that, I really need to reinstall Windows. Well, I could do that right now, or I could wait until I get this new SSD, take all of the stuff that I have on my current NVMe SSD, which is a Gen 3. And what I have there is I have my games and my mods, and I think that's all. Yeah, I think that's all that I'm saving there right now is just games and mods. And migrate all that over to my new fastest Gen 5 PCIe 5 X4 SSD that I'm about to buy. That will free up my Gen 3 NVMe that I have right now to become my new operating system SSD, which also changes me over from what's called MBR, which is a legacy file format, to the newer UEFI. My NVMe SSD is a UEFI system. Now, in turn, what that's going to allow for is for me to go into my BIOS and enable AMD Expo, which in turn, see how this is all a domino effect, will enable me to run my 6500 speed RAM that I bought at 6500. Right now, it's capped at 4500. So my RAM is not even running as fast as it could because my operating system is on a legacy SATA SSD drive right now, which prevents me from activating that Expo, that AMD Expo in BIOS, which will enable my RAM to run at its full capacity. See, so everything's kind of a domino effect. So those are the things that I'm kind of waiting to fall into place now, but especially just being able to install a fresh copy of Windows. That was another thing. Windows, because I did a change in hardware, it's kind of, Windows detects that as being a different computer. So they deactivated my Windows, and I had to go through a lot of stuff and some authentication and jump through some hoops to get it re-authenticated, but my Windows 10 is now re-authenticated and I'm good, reauthorized, so I'm good to go there. But I want to install that freshly onto my Gen 3 NVMe SSD. That will become possible for me once I get this new Gen 5 SSD, and then I just need to move files around. So I'm kind of repeating myself a lot, but that's illustrative to you of just kind of what a jumble of information is in my head right now. I've learned a bunch of new stuff, and I think I've got it all figured out for the most part. I really need to get that fresh install of Windows to clear up any of these ghost bugs that are happening right now so that this system is running as smoothly as possible, as it should, as the hardware that I got should allow it to. The only other thing I have to mention then, and then we can move on to gameplay, is that, and this is aggravating, I bought a copy of, not a copy, but like a retail version of Adobe, like an Adobe suite. I got Adobe Premiere, I got Adobe Photoshop, a whole bunch of different Adobe tools used for visual graphics and video editing years and years and years and years ago. This was a long time ago. It was brand new at the time. It was Adobe 5.5. We are way down the line from that. But now what Adobe has gone to is subscription model, which I fargan hate. So I don't need a whole lot out of it. I don't even use Adobe Premiere anymore. I just use Photoshop, and I don't need it to do very much. I just needed the base. So 5.5 was fine for me, and I owned that. I didn't have to pay a subscription for it. So that was really the only tool that I was using from Adobe was Photoshop 5.5. But man, it was perfect for what I wanted it for, and I knew how to use it. But whenever I changed all these components out, apparently that software, even though I bought it, this pisses me off. I paid for it. I own it. But not really. Not really. According to Adobe, I'm kind of like renting it. Because over the past, 20 some odd years that I've owed this, I made the cardinal sin of trying to, according to Adobe, because I just changed out hardware to such an extent, I tried to use it on a third different computer. So over the course of 20 years, I've rebuilt my computer now, including this time right here, 3 times, and 3 times was just a bridge too far for them. F those guys, right? What a bunch of pigs. And so I'm locked out from it. I completely uninstalled it from my system. It's not being supported anymore because it's so legacy, and I'm not allowed to use it on this system because they've detected it's the third system that it's been on. So I trashed that, and the picture you are now seeing is what I could best find to replace the pictures that we're using. I'm now using something called Photopedia, but I'm having to learn it. Now, the good thing is that Photopedia is modeled after Photoshop, so I'm pretty familiar with it. It was something that I could download onto my computer, and I don't have to just do it on the internet. I can do it from locally, and I can make title slides now, but I don't know how much I'll be utilizing that in the future. I still just don't have quite the control, or it doesn't feel like I do, as I did with Adobe Photoshop, where I could choose my fonts. And this one, like, I downloaded a Viking style font for free for my Adobe Photoshop 5.5 to make the title slides that you guys had seen previously. And this new Photopedia that I'm having to use, they've got a billion different fonts in there to choose from, but as far as I could tell, there was no way for me to download and install a new font, so I couldn't use the same font. I just went and found another one. That's fairly minor, but it is illustrative of a loss of control, creative control, So I don't know. We'll see where that's going forward, but that was another, chalk that up as a loss on this system rebuild that I had. I guess I shouldn't say another, because it's like the only loss. Everything else is just me slowly figuring things out and piecing it together. But we are at 18 and a half minutes, and I think that gives you enough of an explanation. You can kind of grasp and understand all of the things that I'm juggling right now, trying to keep 2 games going that we're uploading right now. I'm messing with a lot with Cyberpunk and getting mods together for that, and preparing for a January playthrough, beginning date for a playthrough of Cyberpunk. I am simultaneously continuing to fault isolate and learn how to troubleshoot and fix things that I run into with my new system. And so if I end up stopping, if I'm late on recordings, or if I even stop uploading, you guys kind of know it's because I've run into I'm just really busy trying to figure out my new system and stuff, and trying to get that all ready to go before the new year turns. So there you go, your heads up on that. Let's see, we're at about 19 and a half minutes. We will go ahead and get into the gameplay. This is with my new 5060 Ti. So here's my GPU and my new Ryzen 7 7800 X3D. And so you can see it's only using 16% of the CPU. Sitting at 46 degrees Celsius. My GPU's at 30% and 41 degrees Celsius. VRAM is fine, 11.3 of the 31 gigabyte. And frames per second locked because of my own settings here at 65 currently. So let's I think go get into a test fight. Oh, by the way, guys, I didn't even review my last video. I'm not sure what I was up to. I know we were going to try and pivot away from cavalry and go more into the warships and raid. So I think I'm just going to continue building our numbers up for that. Looks like we're at 12,000. I'm going to want to buy a third workshop once we get to around 35, 40,000. Okay, let's say roughly 20 minutes is where I need to put that bookmark in. Alright, I want you to surrender or die, brigand, and we will attack them. Alright, so we're watching for smoothness and stuff like that. I hope I'm not overly critical where I wasn't really paying attention with my 3060, and I hope I don't misjudge or judge too harshly. My new card. Give preference to troops at higher tiers. I want to unlock that. No. I do want that. Over here, I want to unlock that. Okay.
Footmen! Forward! Footmen!
Okay, this is where I miss RTS camera because it's hard to see. Ah, darn it. 1, 2, 3, 4 ranks. I want 3 ranks. I think right there. Okay.
Soldier! Forward!
Put you there.
Infantry! Forward! Move! Archer, move! Stand upon! Cavalry! Wedge position!
Okay, guys, so if you'll remember, I have my frontline shielded troops here, led by Soren the Shield Maiden, and we're keeping them at about 34. Then I have 20 melee, a group of 20 melee troops led by Blood Axe here, and these are supposed to be more my two-handed shock infantry. There's not a great way for me to parse that out because all of them have pole arms. A lot of the Nords have pole arms. So, I separated it by throwing weapons and higher tier because these guys do tend to be higher tier, the shock troops. Right here, Alrika is leading our archers, and then I am leading what amounts to the companion cavalry right now. I'm not sure if I have very much cavalry, if any, in here that's not companion led. I think it's all companions. So we will hit ready.
Infantry attack! Infantry charge! Boom! Advance!
Okay, now these are ranged bandits that we're facing.
Stay close!
So I want to get on top of them as soon as possible. Looks like we're gonna fight in the water for some strange reason. Nobody's afraid of ammonia, huh? Ammonia. Pneumonia. Looks like we got a lot of pop-in happening. Let me look at something real quick, guys. That pop-in, I don't remember it being that bad. Performance, custom, FXAA, shader quality. I don't know why that was that low. Oh, you know what, guys? That was another thing. Excuse me. This game right here had problems. I had to delete my configuration files and uninstall the game and reinstall it. I think really all I had to do was delete the configuration files. But because of that, I'm having to redo everything. So let's just do that right now. Very high. Okay, there's no ultra. Here's very high. Shader quality, yes. Character detail, shadow quality. Right here, shadow type I've always heard you should just stick with. I don't know, I think I was running that at static and dynamic before. I'm almost positive I was. Particle detail. Unlimited number of ragdolls. I don't know if that's too smart. Or needed. Let's go with 3, maybe? I don't know, we could try 5. Lighting quality is high. I'll keep cloth sim, sun shafts. I don't think I'm going to need tessellation. I don't think I'll even notice interactive grass. Let's take motion blur and depth of field off. And I'll try keeping... Let's take film grain off also. Okay, NVIDIA DLSS. Let's go ahead and take... well, I'm a little bit torn. I think this only activates when it's needed. So if it's needed, then I want performance, right? But I'm going to try for quality. Dynamic resolution FPS target 60 FPS. Yeah. Very high on battle size. Okay, let's 3004 megabyte of 16,000 on the GPU memory. Okay, let's hit done. Mission restart required. Okay, so we won't see it in this fight here. Man, things look pretty ugly at the moment. Perhaps I should have my sword out. Ow. Beat me up pretty bad. Okay. So, scratch that as far as a test. How's everything doing up here? I mean, it looks great, really, to be honest. Bring this up. Who? Gear on writing, and we will give him more writing skill. Okay. Let's see if we can catch some of these guys. We got plenty of food. Traveling at 3.9 speed. FPS is deadlocked at 65, so it's hitting the cap that I gave it. 21% CPU. Oh yeah, that's right. Off screen, this dude's looking for us to join. Powerful warships, okay. We shall attack. So we should see a spike in CPU. We did. It went to 102%.
Footman! Charge! Infect! Kill! Arrow! Move! Loose movement! Cavalry! Skate! Follow me!
Okay, so now this is... it does look good. So how are we looking? 25% of my CPU at 52 degrees Celsius. 51% of my GPU at 45 degrees Celsius. We got a steep fall off here. Hey, is this something I can take advantage of?
Move! Infantry! Forward! Archers! Forward!
Because they would have to peek up over that hill to get line of sight on us, which puts me much closer to them than they would ever want. Where are they at? They must be firing. Oh, there they are, yeah.
Infantry! Charge! Attack! Cavalry! Give them hell!
Everybody go get them. Oh, yeah, well, I mean, it's looking fantastic. And GPU's at 67%. Are you kidding me? It's not even being pushed. Oh, that's a happy moment. Look at this, fellas. I don't know, maybe I just got lucky with the map and the time of day, but I mean, it's looking pretty good. It looks epic. Look at how grand everything, the size. This is something I talk about in all kinds of games. To me, Destiny 2 really set the standard on this, and I hate to give Destiny 2 credit because it's full of such degeneracy. But when it came to their ability to design static elements that make you look like you're in an enormous world. You're just one small person in an enormous world, and it's not really actually open world. Like Skyrim, you could travel to the top of that mountain, right? You can't do that in Destiny, and you can't do that here. But games that do this, I call it scale. Whenever it makes good use of scale, then that's a great feeling. For me, I don't know if it's like that for the rest of you guys, but for me, this is one of the best things you can do for me as a gamer, is put me in an environment where everything feels grand, and I'm kind of like, I'm just one small piece, and it's sort of overwhelming. You know, the majesty of all of this compared to my little guy. And we just had a fight right here on this field where blood was spilled and men died. And this tiny little speck of a corner of this entire region, and this entire region is one little speck of a corner of the planet, right? And yet big major things are happening where lives are won and lives are lost. That's how it impacts me subconsciously, you know? So let's hit tab. Yeah, we took no KIA there. That's good. Got 9 level ups. Let's get a shield biter. Actually, you know what? Cancel that. Yeah, I want to cancel those changes. I want a marauder. Right here, I think I want more huntsmen. So I'm going to take 2 huntsmen, because I'm pretty sure I'm trying to grow my my archers. We'll take the Scion, the War Proven, the Hearthguard. Right here, probably Spear Warrior and Archer. Okay, now, unfortunately, we gotta take a moment here, because I really need to know the composition of my army. So we're gonna sort by type is correct. That's fine. It's showing that I have 57 melee troops and 18 archers. I think I want to get to 30 archers. So that's like 12 more. 7, 6, 5, 5, 4, 45, and 30. Yeah. With room to grow. Lots of room to grow. Okay, because I would actually like to be closer to 60 on my melee troops. I like to have twice as many melee as I do archers. I don't know if that's the right move or not, but it seems like what should be, right? Like in real life, if you go back to ancient armies and stuff, your archery line needed to be protected. So you need a shield wall, right? And it's got to be pretty big, and it's got to be several ranks thick. All right, Nord Shield Companion, I have 2. Axe Warriors are 3. What's this guy's troop tree? Okay, he is a, well, I don't think it matters if he's a noble, because he will be frontline infantry. He will. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, of course. 29. I have 29 frontline shield troops. Okay, so now when it comes to shock infantry, 4, 5, 6, 7. These guys are also frontline infantry. They have a shield? Yes, they do. Does it stay that way all the way throughout? No. No, so they have to be back there with the shock infantry, which is weird because they're not actually shock, they're anti-cav. Alright, well, I need more of them regardless. What am I looking at here then? For shock infantry... So, really, so they're separate. Okay. So I only have 7. 4, 5, 6, 7 shock infantry. I want that to be at 10. So I'm close. I have 10. And here I want this to be like... I guess 10. I should go for 10 spear warriors, and I only have 2. So those are the 2 that need to be addressed. Okay. Oh, I didn't count these guys. So I have plenty of frontline shield infantry. I really need to focus on the shock infantry and on the spear infantry. Okay, that's exactly what I needed to know. Let's go ahead and grab all that. This is really the first test, guys, of my system. Like an underload actual... I'm recording and I'm playing at high settings in a video game. This is the first real test, and I'm very happy to see the cooling is what's really critical to me. It means that I got my CP cooler on there correctly. I applied the thermal paste right. All that good stuff, you know. Uh-oh. What we have here? Thulric. Who is Thulric? Let's find that out. Let's address this first. Fjörgir. Another cav. I think I'm going to give you well strapped. No, I'm sorry. No, I want this one. Yeah, easily I want this one. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't make that mistake. Okay, what was I saying? I want to find out whose kid... I really need to know the kids. I want to know my clan really well. Thulric. It won't really tell me. I have to click myself. There we go. Okay, so I have Skorn and Ingun. Njaldar has Freya and Up. Fjörgir then has Ealdi, Thulric, and Anessa. Okay, so this is Fjörgir's kid. Fjörgir's looking pretty cool, man. And he needs our attention. We're going to give him vigor. And vigor. And he also got social and endurance. Excellent. Okay. I think it's a he. That name sounds like a he, you know? And hit done. Let's stop by and get some recruits. Oh yeah, we can grab all 8 of those youngling recruits. Go hit this hideout and then hit the town behind it for more recruits. And we're going to be heading... We're going to try and go mix it up. With whoever we're at war with. Like... I probably phrased that the wrong way. We're actually looking to avoid armies, but we're gonna raid. I feel like that is our people's position right now, with 86 troops, still really trying to get the composition of my army settled. Let's knock these guys out. We're at 40 minutes. It might not be till next video then, because I do want to get into these kinds of little fights, not only to level my troops up, but really to monitor up here and see how things are going. But so far, it looks like it's going really well. But also to get on new battlefields and see if it looks as spectacular as that last one did, or if that was just luck of the draw.
Archers, loose! Club horsemen! Follow me! Together, form a wedge!
Alright. Well, I gotta tell you, man, it makes the water look hideous whenever there's a lot of ripple effect there. Okay, that's, you know what? I think that's actually trying to be really accurate with the shadows. So I might be misinterpreting that as hideous. There is a little bit of glow on it, some ghosting. That might be perhaps because there's I'm recording and playing at 60 and 65 FPS instead of my monitor's native resolution. We could kind of maybe play around with that a little bit. Native is 240.
Archers, forward!
I'm just going to lead my troops around here to harass them. I'm going to have them follow me. I'm actually going to go right through here and see if they will knock them over. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. That's feeling quite good. See, this is about how I want it. I want a small, dedicated group of cav that can come in and just disrupt while the teeth of my army just chews people up, man. That felt about right. I didn't really get to look up here very much, but it looks like we're doing pretty good. Five more level ups. Okay, Nord Warrior or Huntsman. We're going to go with the Huntsman. Everything else is just a sequential level up instead of a choice. Let's, did I recruit from here already? I don't think I did. Yeah. Okay, more nobles and several younglings. We'll take all of them. Make our way down, I guess, to this village and then back to a main town. I was kind of sad to lose those MAGA intro and outro videos. It was triggering some liberals, man. I was getting some comments and people were downvoting my videos. It was, you know, it's not necessarily the best position to be in, but I was basically engagement farming them. And, and it was working. It was working. Sometimes I think they know, like, I think there's plenty of them that understand the internet well enough to realize, man, I'm helping this guy out. They just can't help themselves. they can't hold, but they don't have the discipline or the impulse control. They just got to say something, you know? And so it's pretty fantastic. But I think I'm going to keep the MAGA Revolution gaming and just change the intro and outro videos to what you saw. You haven't actually seen the outro video, but I like these new intro and outro videos as well. I do. I think they're elegant, they're simple, they're pretty quick and to the point, you know, and they appeal to me. Alright, we're gonna... Actually, can we leave this alone? Let's leave them and try to get them during daytime. For better lighting. Okay. And maybe this time I really will just let my own troops... Let's look at these reflections. My own troops handle it. While I kind of ride around and watch this stuff up here.
Infantry! Attack! Infantry! Archers! Advance! Stand riders! Skein for me! Attack!
Okay, so pretty much everybody's attacking. I'm just gonna ride around and check out these graphics. It does look good, man. There are some striations on that cloud there, but that's still part of where we are technologically. Got nice little light leakage all over the mountain there. You know what? I didn't get this with my 3060 Ti. When I look at these environments, you can almost feel the chill. This looks like a cold, like Highland Alpine sort of. You got the steam on the lake. You know, I don't think I could get that with my 3060 Ti. This feels... Ooh, man, one of my dudes got murked. Olafun, it was my wife. Okay, y'all done. Y'all are done. Vengeance. Vengeance. Yeah? You think that's gonna help you, huh? How you like them apples? I completely neglected to look at GPU stuff. I was more busy looking at the graphics. Okay, well... Who died? It's not Olafun. No way is it Olafun. A Warfang died, okay. That's a noble. That sucks, but... that is how this game tends to do things also. Alright, more archers. I need to remember to really just focus in on my stats up here and watch that. Okay, let's see, we're at 47 minutes. We can do a few more battles. I think I am going to save rating for the next video. But so far, for a first real, I guess, quote-unquote stress test of my system, this is feeling real good. What we can do here is we can go in here and... is there an option for frame limiting? Screen, refresh rate. 239. I've always heard you want it to be 1 FPS less than what you can actually do. I don't know if that's true or not. It's just something maybe I'm remembering wrong also. I'm not quite sure. But, selected adapter. Yeah, you see it? 5060 Ti. Oh boy, I'm happy with my new system, boys. I am. I can't wait to see what this thing can do as I learn more and we get into harder hitting games like Cyberpunk. Sharpen amount. The performance. I just simply unticked a few things. Let's try putting motion blur and depth of field back on and just see what that does. Does it make things more cinematic? Okay, I might have to go through a optimized game setting video again for this game, because even though I have the resources, I hate the idea of making my system work for stuff that just isn't really going to pay off, you know? Well, interactive grass is neat. What are the chances I'm going to see it? I don't know. I don't think they're very good. I'm not quite sure what tessellation is. I need to... I looked that up one time and I forgot. Okay, so we're going to hit done. So this is a new check. Okay, you can see my FPS jumped up here to 186 here on the map. That's what I mean by it's a new check. We're testing a different setup here. Now, I'm still recording at 60 FPS. So I don't know if it'll translate. But the way that I imagine it is that on my system, it runs more smoothly and you're getting a recording that's kind of like a mirror reflection of that. So if it's smoother here, it doesn't matter if if OBS is set to 60 FPS or not. It still looks more buttery. That's my theory. And then on top of that, I think it would get rid of those little ghosting white outlines that you see, the little glowy white outlines. I think that gets caused by, if I'm not mistaken, by a mismatch between the frames that your video card is generating and the frames that your monitor is actually capturing or presenting. So if I frame limit my monitor on purpose at 60 FPS, but my GPU knows this is a 240 frame per second monitor, I have an Odyssey G7, it creates that ghost effect. I'm not exactly sure. That's knowledge that I gained quite a ways back, and I'm kind of going off memory there. So if any of you know, feel free, if you have the time and desire to explain it, to let me know in the comments. What is it that causes ghosting? Other than that, I'm probably about to just, even after this recording, I'm probably just going to look it up on and see what the AI says. Let's let you go because it's nighttime and I want daytime looks. Traveling at 4 clicks. Okay. We're here to fight. No, justice demands. We are not getting any help, which is exactly the way I want it. Okay, I'm going to try real hard to... Gosh, I need to do both. We're at 51. I'm going to watch the graphics here and just kind of see how things look on this one. And then on the next fight we have, I'll focus up here on my toolbar.
Footman, charge, soldier, attack, moment, loose, onward! Cavalry, form a skein, attack! After me!
Actually, stay on me, because I don't want you to get onto them so early that they are just focused on my cav here. I want my infantry with their shields to draw some threat. And I want my cav to be like an additional threat. I want my cav to be like linebackers. These guys are my defensive line. They're going to soak up blockers and stuff, and then my linebackers with their speed need to be able to roam freely and weave in and out between the lines and tackle ball carriers. There's your football analogy for the day. Hey, congratulations to Alabama for shocking me and a lot of people, I guess, considering how well Oklahoma opened that game. And then Miami also against Texas A&M. So both away teams actually won, which is pretty unusual for the college football playoffs. And then Ole Miss just obliterated Tulane. That was pretty much expected, but you gotta feel good for Ole Miss considering that LSU mandated that Lane Kiffin not coach Ole Miss in that bowl game. I thought that was pretty underhanded, but they are rivals, so that's where Lane Kiffin's going next. All right, so we're gonna hit. I wasn't able to pick up on much there, guys. I guess I was talking too much. Man, I keep breaking my own self on what I'm wanting to accomplish. These environments do look like they should feel, though. And I don't really think I was getting this with my 3060. I think it has, I bet it's the shadows. Something I have going on with shadows. It could even be the fact that because I deleted those files, I had to redo my brightness and darkness and my exposure settings, and maybe that played a role. I don't really know, but I do know it's looking pretty fantastic to me. All right, we're at about 54 minutes. Let's grab these guys. We're not even going to worry about level ups. We're going to grab these guys here. And we're just going to try and get into another fight as soon as possible. Here, we got regular looters. The good thing about regular looters is I could just sit back and let them come to me, giving me more time to run around and just kind of watch stuff. Uh-oh. That looks like a crash. Nope. Okay, it was just a hiccup. Alright, well that is... I don't like seeing that. That's... When you've just installed a new system, that's kind of nerve-wracking. GPU is operating at 100%. I got one with you. Yeah, it's still pegged at 100%, so something with the map is really pushing the GPU to max, but the temperature is reading good. Okay, so I want to set these guys. Let's see, what do we have going here? We do have high ground. It slopes up. How far back can I go? Holy smokes, is there... Wow, that's a long ways back. Alright, so here's how we're going to do it.
Soldiers, move! You heard that, lads? Move!
Can't quite tell. I think here.
And move now! You heard it! Now move! Warriors, change formation! You heard that! Change formation! Men, move now! You heard that! Change formation! Warriors, move! Soldiers, move! Warriors, move! Soldiers, change formation!
Okay. So that's how I'm going to have them set up. And then we can just ride around. So where am I at now? GPU's at 100% again. Okay, well, I was a little surprised earlier whenever I saw my GPU operating at only 67%, because I've been told you want your GPU hitting 100%, doing everything it can to push graphics and performance. So really, it's temperature that I want to monitor. And according to AI, as long as I'm below, I think it's 70 degrees Celsius under load. Maybe it's 75. It probably told me 70 to 75. Then I'm good to go. So this looks great. I've asked the AI some of these questions because I've hopped into some of these games into the menus to look at this tool up here in the top left, and then I take those stats and I ask the Google AI about it. Hey, here's you know, I'm on the menu screen of surviving Mars. Here's my hardware that I'm using. This is the percentage that they're operating at. Here's their temperatures. Is that okay? You know, and it's been telling me, yeah, that's excellent. So CPU is sitting at 21% and 53 degrees Celsius. We are, what, 122 FPS. There's our enemy guys. Okay, so with maxed out settings, I'm still hitting 120. 130 right there. I'm capable of 239, remember, but it's not getting that far. But I am running Bannerlord at ultra settings also. I'm looking at the environment right now, just kind of getting how does it make me feel? Feels fairly austere. This scene right here is it's still cartoony, but it's very believable to me. Looks like real mountains, you know? As far as like their shape and what the rocks look like and the texture and the snow, and then how the cloud cover looks up above. Even though it's a cartoony effect, within this world, all of that stuff looks realistic. Look at the sun brightening right here. Okay, they're all about to die. 104 FPS. Who are we missing? Oh my gosh, look at all these throwing axes. Oh, here they are. That was like their vanguard, so I pulled a bunch of them off. That's what it was. They were chasing me, that group right there. 115 FPS. Alright, let's give an attack order and see how... They might all be dead before my melee gets there. 105 FPS. 108. CPU staying pegged at 21-22%. Temperatures are all stable. 108, 107. I don't think I've dropped below 100. Oh, there it is. 99. All right. Okay, well, I was able to kind of check both things there. I was able to look up here and study this stuff as well as look around at the environment. We have 9 more upgrades. Again, focusing on getting more archers. And we have Axe Warrior versus Spear. I will take the Spear Warrior. Take all the loot. Grant their request. I'm at 101 troops. I think I can carry 126. So let's just kind of stick there at 100. And go sell. Get rid of our prisoners and our loot. Lighten the load some. We're pretty slow right now. This felt like a pretty good test. I was happy with the results. There's every chance that I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. You can see the CPU is at 43% right there. So the map pushes pretty hard, I think. For whatever reason, the Bannerlord map is pretty demanding. And, you know, it's kind of been like that from the very get-go. I've owned this game almost from the very beginning, if I remember right. So... That's always been true, that you used to be able to set the map at like quarter resolution or something. I don't know if that's possible now or not. They might have gotten rid of that setting. But we will ransom these prisoners and we will trade this stuff in. That puts us at 21.6. We're making 423 gold per cycle. Let's take a look and see how our 2 shops are doing. They're both making over 400 gold each. So that's looking real good. Alright, we will save as, and we're going to save over ongoing too. Guys, that is my first real recording on my new system, and I think it went really well. What do you guys think? Alright, keep in mind everything I said there in the beginning. I am really busy. It's hard for me to know. Things feel very touch and go. It's not stable. I don't know exactly where I am with this system, but I know I need to get that high-speed SSD in. I need to shuffle some files around. I need to do a brand new Windows install on my current Gen 3 NVMe SSD so that I can have UEFI file format, which then enables me to toggle on in BIOS the AMD Expo setting, which itself enables me to run my RAM at 6500 speed instead of its current capped 4500. And I think that, so I will speed my system up, and I will get rid of any and all Intel ghosting whatsoever. And hopefully be able to retain my files and apps and stuff, so I don't have to re-download OBS and redo my audio. I'm hoping I can find a way to migrate that stuff over after doing the clean install. So we'll see how all that goes, but I'm excited. All right, guys, again, I'm Aesop Grimm. Thank you for coming by the channel. I hope you like what you saw. More importantly, I hope all is well in your neck of the woods. Merry Christmas to everybody, and I'll see you in the next episode where this story continues.
This place ain't no such thing as civilized.